Good morning, everyone. It is 10 o'clock, so we will get started. Thank you for joining us as we prepare for week 11 of the 2021 MEAC Weekly Football Coaches Video Conference. I am Karen Carty, the Assistant Commissioner for Media Relations here at the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and I will serve as the moderator for today's meeting. I'd like to remind everyone to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And when acknowledged, please state your name and indicate the outlet that you are representing. Before we get to our coaches, we will hear from Mr. Jeff Cunningham, the MEAC's Director of Media Relations, who will provide us with some updates from the MEAC.
Thank you and good morning. Patrick Godbolt had 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks, and South Carolina State held Howard University to under 200 yards of total offense on Saturday, as the Bulldogs escaped Oliver C. Dawson Stadium with a 15-12 win over the Bison to remain undefeated in MEAC play. North Carolina Central needed 2 overtimes to defeat Norfolk State 38-36 to celebrate the Eagles' homecoming in Durham, North Carolina, and snap the Spartans' 6-game winning streak with MEAC Countdown to Kickoff presented by Coca-Cola in attendance. Isaiah Totten and Latrell Collier each had a rushing touchdown for the Eagles, and Davius Richard threw for 2 scores. Norfolk State's J.J. Davis had the best game of his young career, rushing for 217 yards on 18 carries and 3 touchdowns. On Thursday night, Morgan State picked up its first win of the season, defeating Delaware State 20-14 in front of a national ESPN2 audience. Alfonso Graham and Romella Kimbrough each had a rushing touchdown for the Bears. This Saturday, we'll see Norfolk State hit the road to take on Delaware State, while North Carolina Central will be in the nation's capital to take on Howard. Both games will kick off at 1 p.m. on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Morgan State will hit the road for a non-conference tilt at Albany, with kickoff set at 1 p.m., broadcast on Flow Football. And South Carolina State will be home for a non-conference game against North Carolina A&T State, a game that will kick off at 1:30 p.m. on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. There is 1 weekend remaining in the regular season for MEAC volleyball, and Delaware State and Howard are atop the standings at 11-2. The Bison have won 8 matches in a row and will also have a non-conference match this Friday against West Virginia. The 2021 MEAC Volleyball Championship will be held at Howard University's Burr Gymnasium Friday through Sunday, November 19th through 21st, and the championship match will again be broadcast live on ESPNU at 8 p.m. on Sunday, November 21st. The 2021-22 MEAC bowling season is almost a month old, and this weekend will mark the first of 2 conference meets during the regular season. All 9 of the MEAC's bowling programs will be in Gwynn Oak, Maryland this Saturday and Sunday for the first step in determining the field for the 2022 MEAC Bowling Championship, which will be held March 25th through 27th in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The 2021-22 MEAC basketball season tips off tomorrow, with all 8 men's and all 8 women's programs in action. On the men's side, defending champion Norfolk State is the preseason favorite to win the MEAC, while Morgan State's Detorian Ware was named preseason player of the year. Howard University is the preseason favorite to win the MEAC in women's basketball this season, with Morgan State's Danye Red being named preseason player of the year. For more information on the MEAC and its 16 sponsored sports, please visit us at meacsports.com. Follow the MEAC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at MEAC Sports, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll now begin with our head coach's questions, starting with Coach Larry Scott from Howard. Good morning, Coach Scott. How are you?
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing well. Good to see you.
Yep.
All right, Coach. The Bison, again, fought right down to the wire, falling by just 3 points at South Carolina State this past weekend. Recap that battle in Orangeburg for us.
Oh, man, I tell you what, it was very interesting. It started from things we had to deal with during the week and all those type of things. But man, every moment and every experience that we've had this year has been one that's been building our team. I'm telling you, and every day is another experience for us. And I think this week was one that we learned a lot from, and that's going to help make us better. But, nice long bus ride down and some weather elements and different things like that. And we, dealt with some injuries and things like that during the course of the game, and had to have some guys step up and have a, next guy in mentality and mindset, and understand that we just have to keep on swinging and keep on going and keep fighting. And I'll tell you what, man, during this deal, yeah, you don't end up in the side of the column that you want to. Obviously, we want to win the game, but we have so many small successes and victories within our journey right now that our football team is fired up. They're inspired. They're motivated. They're learning. They're growing, and they're starting to understand with growth comes pain. And right now, we're just experiencing a little bit of what those growing pains are giving us, but we're learning so much from them and building each and every week. But I thought our guys went down and competed. I thought they played hard all the way down to the end. We had to make some major adjustments during the game. They made those adjustments. They accepted the challenge, and I'm happy with our football team and where we're at. And it's just a matter of time before all of that starts translating to the other side of the column.
Sounds good. The game appeared to be a great defensive battle, and Christian White was all over the place with 11 tackles, including 9 solo stops. How big was his performance for the Bison?
Oh, it was huge. It was inspiring. It inspired the rest of his teammates, and that's what I'm trying to get these guys to understand. When you start learning how to play together and play for each other, it ignites, all of that stuff, and it permeates throughout the whole team, both sides of the ball. So his play was not only great for himself individually, but it was great and inspiring and a motivating factor for our football team to keep swinging and all rally around that and play hard. So, like I said, there's so many awesome things that we're starting to realize and learn about our team and about what we're trying to build here. It's amazing. But yes, he had a heck of a ball game, and it inspired us all.
Sounds good. This Saturday, the Bison will return home to face North Carolina Central. What should we expect from this contest?
I'll tell you what, you turn on the film, and if you're a football guy and you're watching, that North Carolina Central football team is a heck of a football team. They got a lot of athletes. They fly around. You can tell they love playing football. Coach Oliver's done a tremendous job with those guys. And I think they're, if not, I'm going to go out on a limb, if not one of the better teams in the league. They're soon to be, because they do a heck of a job, and I love watching them play just as a football coach. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us facing them coming in here. Our last home conference game of the year. We'll be inspired. We'll be motivated and go out there and compete and give it a whirl. But this is a really good football team, and I think you're going to see a really good football game.
Awesome, Coach. Those are the questions I have for you. We will now open it up for any questions from the media. Do we have any questions for Coach Scott? Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Scott.
Good morning, Doc. How we doing?
Doing really well, and yourself?
All right, man. Every day, baby. Every day.
Yeah, it's a work. It's a work. It's a process. It's what we do.
Yep.
I appreciate you asking that, and appreciate the attitude that you bring in terms of this program. In that vein, let's take a deeper dive in terms of what you've seen, progress for your program. Are you on schedule for most of the things? And for those things that you are, what are some of those things, and those that you're not? Could you go in a little bit of detail and give us a framing on that?
Well, really good question. I think we're, you go back and you try to trace the whole evolution of this whole thing. You come in, I get the job right before pre-pandemic. In February, I actually don't take the job until the signing day of February, and get in here and get going. And then right there in March, we get sent home for over a year. And everything we were doing were virtual. Everything, I didn't know kids' names. I couldn't put names with faces. I'm using trying to use the website, which isn't always updated properly, and the pictures are old. You don't know who's who. And so just trying to learn the names of the kids and where they're from and their backgrounds and who they are and all those different things was quite the experience. But then to try to, lay the foundation of your program, from a philosophy standpoint and everything, and while doing it all virtual. So we attempted to do a virtual season so that we can teach, our schemes and what we do and how we do it, and those type of things. But meanwhile, the kid that missed out on a whole year and a half of development, physically in the weight room and those type of things, where, a lot of people were on their campuses. We were kind of not even on campus until the following January. And then we try to pull off 2 spring games in February, and half the practices we were practicing on ice. We don't have snow removers. We don't have those type of things, or we're practicing football inside of a gym, is what we were trying to do this spring, just to get off our feet and get going. And then you get to the summer and we got to send them back home because we don't pay for both summer sessions. So we send them back home for another 6 weeks. They're away from us, and then we get them right back preseason camp. So with all of the elements and variables that's been involved, I love where we're at. I think we're right on schedule, and you got to always put all of that into it. Of course, we want to push the envelope as hard as we can and develop and do all those type of things. But you got things that go into play, like the safety, their welfare, their academics, and everything here on campus that also go into play. I mean, there's sometimes we go to practice and we don't make excuses around here. We may not have 4 or 5 guys that are critical guys at practice. We may have one guy that practices once a week because of the academic schedule here and different things that we deal with too. And we're not going to make those excuses, except we make those motivating factors for the adversity that we got to learn to deal with. And we teach life lessons through that to continue to build our program. And no excuse, next man up. It allows us actually to develop our roster top to bottom. And get guys in there and keep them going and stuff like that. So, to your question, yeah, I think we're right on schedule with everything and all the variables and elements that we have to do to deal with to make it all work. I love where we're at, but I'm even more excited about where we're going. We use a term around here in our program, just keep fighting, because we're fighting for who we're becoming. Everybody else and everything else wants to put us in a place, in a box for what they see us as now, but we're continuing to fight for who we're becoming. And keep that in the mindset each and every week when we go in the game, and we learn to celebrate small successes in this program. This has been a program that hadn't had a whole lot to celebrate. And to be honest with you, didn't know how to celebrate, didn't know what it meant to celebrate, a 3rd down stop or 4th down stop, or, getting off the field, small little successes that build the program. We're learning how to do. So we're teaching this thing top to bottom and developing it holistically. Do it all, and I think right where we are is good, but more excited about where we're going.
Follow-up question, and I appreciate the detail that you were able to go into with that. And I personally don't like to use the framework, as you said, excuses, but it's important to understand context for individual programs where you are. With that being said, you came in and, as Ms. Karen Carty provided, the next game, which is North Carolina Central. They're coming off a big win. Yep. And you talked about the talent level you saw in that program. This is a program that kicked off the season with a major win in MEAC challenge that most people didn't see coming. What are some of the key things that they do well, and how do you look to counteract that? And then I'll let my colleagues jump in and ask some follow-up questions.
I think what they do well, right? The first thing you do, without looking and getting into the details and particulars of schematics and all of those type of things, you look at the effort and the speed and the physicality in which they play, which tells you they're a very motivated team. They're very intrinsically motivated. They love to play football. They fly around. They do the things that you really, at the end of the day, don't coach, right? You hope guys love to play it, and they play full speed and they play hard. This is a football team that plays hard. I mean, they maybe not, and like I said, I don't know all the details of their scheme and stuff like that. And really on the, just the front end side of kind of breaking all of that down and stuff like that, with a little bit of a glimpse of them yesterday and what we've done so far this morning, and we'll dive more into it here as we keep going through the week. But the one thing that you can't replace and not do at a high level and elite level in football is just play hard. It's just play hard, and they do. And so you're going to have to match that level of intensity, or you're not going to give yourself a chance.
Appreciate you, Coach Scott. Thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Scott. How are you, sir?
James, doing well, my man. How you doing?
Pretty good. When you look at your Bison's football program, 2 games remaining this season, as you continue to build a winner and continue to put your stamp on the legacy of the program and what you want to do with this team. What do you see, and give us an assessment of so far what you see?
Oh man, I see a group of guys that are into the process. They're being taught the process, but they're buying into what that is. And as much as we all want to win and win right now, because we all do, that's the whole object, right? You want to win and you want to win right now. There's a, you have to be able to also look at yourself realistically. So over the last few weeks, been working on a series with the guys of, you know what, who we are will reveal itself. Control the controllables, and who we are and where we're at will always come out and will reveal itself. Okay, and I've been comparing it to basically an 11-round fight. And if you're a fighter and you're a boxer, I'm enamored with boxing. I love boxing. So it's, you go out and you fight around and you go back to the corner and your corner talks to you in your ear, but you still got to stay focused on the fight. They're telling you what to do. Stay off the ropes, stay away from the jab. They're giving you instruction. Every week we go back in the corner, but you only can, fix a few things at a time because you have to be process driven. But what you have to do when you get back in the ring is keep fighting, keep punching, keep fighting. So when I'm using that as an analogy for them to understand that that's where we are. And at the end of the day, we want to just be standing there at the 11th round and have fought the good fight and not quit, never gave up, never asked to throw in the white towel. So I think at the end, they're starting to understand that, hey, yeah, this is a very slow, methodical process. Here's the victories. Here's the things that we've done well from week to week. Here's the things that we've got to continue to build on, and understanding that that's not on game day. That's Sunday to Saturday when we kick the ball off. What that process is, what that looks like, and how we're going to build this thing. So I think at the end, I'm very pleased with the steps and the strides that we've made in that area. And very soon, those are going to translate into win. But it's going to be wins that, and a program is going to be shaped in the form of that we have continued success, not just a good football team for the 2021 season, but a program that's built to sustain, over the next 10 years. And my thing is with them, I try to get them to understand you can't be in an organization that's waiting on the shoe to fall. Okay, you can't wait for something bad to happen. And that those days are long gone. You got a group of men here who are committed to this program. Committed to building this thing the right way, and are going to be here to see it through.
Coach, the last MEAC football game, if you will, this Saturday on the Hill for the Bison, you'll look over and get a look at the Central Eagles. Just talk about going in and what you envision, and again, it's the last opportunity for Howard fans to see you guys this year at home.
Absolutely. Playing at home is different. We talk about that. Playing at home is important. You got to lay it on the line for just not, our team and for your teammates, but for our university, our brand, who we are. And defending your home territory is something that has to carry a little bit of a different approach, a little bit different focus, a little bit different intensity, a little bit different mindset. And those, again, that's one of the blocks and things that we're getting to and trying to teach as we continue to go. So we're excited about the opportunity to play back at home. We want our fans to be excited about it. We want them to be in the stadium and make it another great environment. We've been able to do that at home so far with our attendance record shows that. And we want to be able to pull that off one more good time here with a conference game with a great opponent coming in and give our kids a chance to go out and just, play, have fun, love doing it together, and lay it out on the line for their teammates and for their university.
Thank you, Coach. And I do understand you will see Lynchburg at Howard, but I was just basically speaking to the MEAC factor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a great week, sir.
You do the same.
Mr. Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, I'm gonna ask a non-football question as it relates to your university and some of the demonstrations that have been going on the last few weeks by students. What do you make of that, and how sensitive is the football program to what's going on campus right now?
Oh, man. Good question. It's definitely something that we've been having to visit with our young men about and have conversations with, and see what their take is and on everything like that. And I think it's kind of just a microcosm of the world that we live in, right? Sometimes we just can't pigeonhole things to this is just what's happening on Howard's campus. All you have to do is turn on the news and see that it's something that's happened all over the world in a lot of communities, and not only in the United States, but in other countries and everything everywhere. So those are humanistic elements that you can't not just pull the wool over and say it doesn't happen. but it's what such is life. So what they're getting is, and I think that's what's amazing and great about this campus, is that they're seeing everyday life at all facets, from top to bottom on an everyday basis, because that's what this is. A university. Yeah, sure enough, this is football, but this is an educational experience for them far and beyond just football. So to see that going on and to see their peers have a voice, and to see the administration have their voice and where we are, and be able to have the rights and the freedoms and the space, the safe space to be able to do that, is an awesome thing for our young people too as well. So it's something definitely that they're kind of, I don't want to even say numb to, but they're kind of associated with, in a way that they can try to keep their focus on the things that they're trying to get done and moving forward in life, but yet acknowledge and see, real life happening right here on their campus. So it's something that we definitely, kind of have embraced as a holistic, another holistic opportunity of development in a safe place like Howard's campus. So at the end of the day, I think, and not that I want to say it is what it is, but it's definitely something that is real, and we have to observe that.
All right, thank you.
All right, Coach Oliver. Excuse me, Coach Scott. Thank you for being with us today. Good luck this week, and we will see you next Monday.
All right, guys. Thank you. See you next week.
Take care. This Saturday, the Bison will host the North Carolina Central Eagles at William H. Green Stadium in Washington, D.C. Kickoff is slated for 1 p.m., and the game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Coach Oliver from North Carolina Central. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm well, Karen. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well today. All right, Coach. Despite the distractions that come with homecoming, the Eagles remained focused and pulled off a big 38-36 victory over Norfolk State on Saturday. Talk about that double overtime win.
I think that was probably going to be an instant classic. I mean, that was one heck of a ball game. Two really good football teams going at it, and it was a great win for the program, for the university. It's just good to be able to see the alumni and the students being able to enjoy homecoming. And it was a hard-fought game. We got behind early. We were down 21-0 before I think we figured out what was going on, and the guys settled down. And again, our guys really don't get rattled and they don't quit. And I take my hat off to them, and I'm so proud of our young men. But we settled down and made a few plays and worked to get back into the game. I thought my coaching staff did an outstanding job making some adjustments at halftime, and throughout the game. But I think we saw probably about every situation that we work on in practice, whether it would be coming out backed up, red zone, fourth down, short yardage, when we had to convert on 4th and 2, and we had to get a couple of fourth down stops, all the way down to, a 2-point conversion to win it. So it was just good to see that our guys were able to translate or take stuff from the practice field onto the game field and come out with a big win. But it was a lot of good things, and again, some things we had to get cleaned up. I was pleased to see that we did improve with our discipline and the penalties, but our rushing defense was horrendous, and we've got to figure out how to shore that up. But again, pleased about our performance, and I take my hat off to our young men and our coaching staff.
Great, Coach. Offensively, it was a pretty balanced attack with several players coming up big for your team. Talk about the play of Davius Richard, Isaiah Totten, and Ryan McDaniel.
Well, Davius, I mean, he's a outstanding quarterback. At times he does too much and tries to make, hit every home run rather than, we can win with, hitting a couple singles here, and a couple doubles here, but every play does not have to be a home run. And, third play of the game, he tries to scramble. We get sacked, fumble, and give them the ball, inside the 5-yard line. And, we talk about it, and he's just got to do a better job of taking care of the football. He breaks another long run for about 30 yards, makes a couple guys miss, takes a shot. We fumble the ball and give it right back to him. I'm pleased with his decision making. He just has to do a better job of ball security. Isaiah Totten, That's the old man. He's been around the league for a while now, and he's just, a blue collar guy. Doesn't say much, just comes to work. And, like I said, all year, we have a stable full of running backs with he and Moogie Collier and Jordan Freeman. So I was pleased with our running game and how they progressed. And then on perimeter, Ryan McDaniel, he shows up every week, and he's a talented young man as well. And he makes plays. And like I said, if we can protect Davius and he can settle down, we have playmakers that can make some plays on the perimeter. So it was just to see us finally play complementary football and work to put all three phases together.
Good stuff. This Saturday, it's up to Washington, D.C. to face the Howard Bison. Please give us your preview of that game.
Howard, they look very similar to us, when I took over. A bunch of young guys, and I think Coach Scott's doing a heck of a job with how he's building the program. And I think he's doing it the right way. And his roster looked very similar to mine. A bunch of freshmen and sophomores. Now I have a bunch of redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores. But they're a young team, and I think they have a lot of talent. And they're playing a lot of young guys, and they unfortunately having some growing pains. But they took South Carolina State, the top team in the conference, to the wire. So like I said, and a lot of the coaches say, it's a lot of parity in the conference. It's not much of a difference. The biggest thing I think is just experience and quarterback play. And we saw that this weekend with Norfolk. Norfolk's a really good football team, but when you have redshirt juniors and redshirt seniors, that makes life a lot easier for you. So, and then obviously quarterback play. But Howard is a talented football team. Like I said, they're just, they're young, and they're coming. And it's going to be a test. We got to go up to DC for their home game, and that's a tough place to play. So we're going to have to improve this week, shore up some things with our run defense, and go up there and get ready for another battle. In this conference, every week is a battle.
Thank you, Coach. Those are the questions that I have for you. We'll now turn to the media for their questions, beginning with Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you, sir?
I'm well, James. How you doing?
Pretty good. When you look at your homecoming victory over this last weekend, what significant takeaways can you use going forward, and what stands out to you in particular?
I think the biggest thing is just momentum within the program, and not just offense, defense, or with the football team. When I say the program, I mean, that's a win for everybody that's involved. And we said everybody matters. So, when you see the trainers, so excited, and you see the academic support staff, coming congratulating the young men after the game, and the video crew and the equipment managers, they were losing their minds all game long. I think they were the hype crew, but I mean, it's huge for the whole program and for the university. And like I said, I can't say enough of, how pleased and happy I was in the team to be able to win this for the alumni. Those folks spend a lot of money to spend the weekend here and come see us perform, and you want them to have a good experience and enjoy the festivities. So I think that's the biggest takeaway, is just the momentum within the whole program and university.
Coach, football teams like to control their own destiny. They like to put the work in and go out and win games. When you have a couple opportunities left and you can continue to work on that, just talk about the grind and going forward and what you like to see when you work towards a goal.
Again, every week we want to see improvement. And like you say, when you control your own destiny, that's you're in a good place there. Obviously, we would need a whole lot of help for things to happen. So we're just going to, again, take it 1 week at a time. Let's, again, try to improve and get better this week. And let's finish the season strong. And, we'll let the chips fall where they may. But we want to go out on a good note for our seniors and then have some momentum going into the off season. So, we have 2 games left, and we just want to, work to get better, improve every day.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, especially after seeing that amazing, as you said, instant classic. It had everything that you want in a football game. I do want to go back and revisit first, in the midst of the moment when you go 21 down, 21-0. I know it's early, what is said, or is there anything said in terms of the game at that time?
Well, that time was just settle down. Just settle down. And first of all, we had to get a first down. We didn't get a first down the whole first quarter.
Right.
We had 3 possessions, had 3 and outs for a negative 25 yards. So it's just like, come on, this is not who we are. Let's just settle down and play football. First of all, let's one play at a time. And let's get a first down. Once we get a first down, then we can try to put a drive together. But I think, the guys were excited. It might have been pressing too much too early and trying to, make the big plays. So once we settle down and let the plays come to us, we worked to get ourselves back into the game. But one play didn't get us down 21 points, and one play wasn't going to get us back into it. So, or tie it up. So the big thing was just settle down, let's get a first down, and then we'll just work to claw our way back. At halftime, it was the same thing. Let's just keep playing, guys. Something good happens, keep playing. If something bad happens, keep playing. And our guys, talk about playing for 60 minutes, but it took a little bit longer Saturday.
I know it was a team effort in so many different ways, but were there a couple of guys that were superlative in that victory that you can talk about?
Defense, Noah Rainbow Douglas had an outstanding game. Juwan Hudson, corner, had a really big game. He had a penalty that hurt us and kept the drive going, but he stepped up and played well. I thought our offensive line played one of their better games of the year. As far as controlling the line of scrimmage and giving our quarterback some time to throw the ball and deliver. I thought the offensive line stepped up, and then it was a team effort. I thought our quarterback played better after the first quarter, and then receivers made plays on the edge. This week I think we had 1 drop. So when you don't drop the ball and you don't have a whole lot of penalties, you're gonna win games. When you have a bunch of penalties and drop balls, it's gonna be hard on you, and that's been a problem throughout the year.
Thank you, Coach Oliver. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
To the matchup.
Thank you.
Mr. Ty Miller. You're muted, Ty.
Sorry about that. Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Ty. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sure that conference championship was on your checklist when the season started, and you have a chance to secure a share of the championship right now. So was that on your checklist as well? And if so, if it happens, what kind of measuring stick would that be going forward for your program?
Well, coming in, I thought we had a chance coming in at the beginning of the season. And, we had just, a whole lot of injuries, a whole lot. And there's a lot of guys that are playing now that weren't playing at the beginning of the season. So I think everybody wants to look forward and try to win championships. Unfortunately, we lost one, and it's going to be a little difficult for us to obtain that goal. But, obviously that's why you play the game. They keep score to see who's going to win a championship. So that's our goal. And obviously, you win a championship, it helps propel your program in the off season, the years to come. It helps with recruiting. It helps with alumni, giving money. So, championships are huge.
Coach, I know that not much information in these press conferences are shared by coaches, so you can't really gain anything from that. So on that note, when it gets to games like this weekend, Howard's, playing out the string as well as you have a lot to play for. When you come upon unscouted looks in the game or unscouted players in the game, how do you react to that, and how do your players react to it?
Well, again, and it's so cliche, but it's about us every week. We work on schemes, and we try to make sure we're sound schematically. But as far as, unscouted players or anything, usually out their best players we're going to know about and we will have a plan for. So I know Howard had a quarterback. They played a couple quarterbacks. So we'll have to prepare for all 3 of those guys. But it's just about, defensively or offensively, just having a scheme that'll have you prepared for any front that you face defensively or, any offensive formation that you might see. But just being disciplined, the guys having to have great eye discipline.
And I'm sure all of us want to know in terms of keeping your team on the same level this week after such a huge win at homecoming. Have you employed that 24-hour rule for that game and have moved on to the next game with the players?
Yeah, it was a sad practice yesterday, unfortunately. We went out yesterday, had to get some things corrected, and We do some things to address penalties, and there was a whole lot of things that we had to get corrected. So, we pat the guys on the back and tell them good job, but we win the game, but at the same time, we made these mistakes. So I don't know if they thought they were gonna come in here and it was just gonna be ice cream and cake and everybody singing kumbaya. But no, it wasn't like that. We had to get stuff corrected. We had to get stuff corrected immediately. So congratulations, guys, on the win. But we got to get this stuff corrected immediately.
Were there any players like, dang, coach, we just won a huge game?
Well, they know how I am. So, good job, guys. But, business is business. And, when something's not right, you got to get it fixed. And that's what we had to do yesterday.
All right. Thank you. And good luck this weekend.
And again, not to take anything away from the win. You want the guys to have fun. But that was Saturday evening after the game. Enjoyed that. But Sunday, it's time to go to work.
All right, Coach. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach, for being with us today. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Take care. North Carolina Central Eagles will travel to Washington, D.C. to face the Howard Bison this Saturday. Kickoff is slated for 1 p.m., and the game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Coach Rod Milsat of Delaware State. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. All right, Coach. The Hornets suffered a 20-14 defeat at Morgan State last Thursday night. Please recap the game for us.
Well, we got off the bus, but it didn't appear like we were off the bus. We started off very, very slow. We gave up 13 points in 5 plays, and you're down 13-0, and you got to play from behind. I thought our guys did a really good job battling back, made it a game, and even had a chance to win it at the end. You can't drop touchdown passes, and we dropped 2 of them. So, looking back over it, Morgan, and I take my hat off to their coaching staff. They did a phenomenal job of game planning us. They attacked some areas on us of some of our weaknesses and made it very difficult for us all night long. At the end, I think we got it going, and then we ran out of time. So mistakes was the nemesis, but that's been our nemesis all year long. You look at the Georgetown game, we lost by 6. South Carolina State, you lost by 6, and then you lose by 6 in this game right here. So it's been a tough road, but we understand that we have 2 more games to play, and we're excited about that.
Awesome. Despite the loss, which players played well for the Hornets?
I think we had. I think our defense played well. I think our defense after they woke up after the first quarter, I think they played well and made it difficult for Morgan to get the ball in the end zone. Offensively, Michael Chris Ike, our backup running back, came in and was our high rush. I think he rushed for 71 yards, but came in and gave us a spark. Injuries have finally caught up to Delaware State. I think those 5 games in the spring and then the games that we played thus far, we've got a lot of guys banged up and bruised. And so the couple of days of getting healed that Friday and Saturday and yesterday has been good for us in terms of trying to get some guys healed up, stretched out, and be ready to go and practice again this week.
Okay. The Hornets will host the Norfolk State Spartans this weekend, who saw their 6-game winning streak come to an end on Saturday. Tell us what to expect from this game.
Norfolk is a well-coached football team. Watching the game from this weekend, then playing Central, it was a battle. Both teams wanted it. Both teams battled till the end. Just a great game to watch and evaluate. And, we got our work cut out for us. They're very consistent in what they do. They're very methodical in what they do offensively. They got a quarterback who's probably the most seasoned quarterback in the MEAC. And he does a very good job managing their offense. And their defense is, they're playing together, they're playing well. They have a well-rounded football program. We're going to have to come out and play our A game with Norfolk. They are, like I said, well-coached, well-disciplined. And but we're looking forward to the challenge. At times we've shown that we're a well disciplined and a good football team. I think our biggest problem this year has been consistency. We're like a roller coaster. We've been up and down a lot this year, trying to find how to be and maintain the good football team status. So we'll be prepared on Saturday to come out, and our playmakers need to step up and make plays this week.
Sounds good, Coach. Those are the questions I have for you. We'll now turn to the media with the first question coming from Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Milsat. How are you, sir?
I'm well. After the 48-hour rule, I'm well now.
Awesome. Last week it was a quick turnaround. You lost a couple days, or it was a quicker preparation to get into the game day. Now you can gain a couple extra days in terms of looking and working towards the game coming up. You'll actually have your last game of the season at home. Can you just talk about going in, and NSU will be in, and what that means in Dover?
Well, it'll be senior day, of course, the last home game here in Dover for the year. It means a lot. You really want to take care of home, and you want to put on a good show for the fans as well. But it's also big for our program. Norfolk State is one of the top teams in the conference right now, record standing, and they're going to be tough to beat. I'm gonna be honest with you. We got our work cut out for us, and I shared that with our football team yesterday. We're going to have to play consistent football with these guys. Everyone's going to have to prepare well this week, and I thought we had a good week of preparation last week. The one thing I can honestly say, coaches coach and players play. I wish I could have a couple plays where I could have got out there and caught some balls, but it doesn't work that way, or make some blocks. It doesn't work that way. So our players understand and that in order for us to get the good football team status, that we are, we got to step up and make plays and eliminate the penalties and eliminate the mental mistakes. And I really believe that at some point, our focus may have got diverted in the game last week. I'm not taking anything away from Morgan. I think they have a fine football club, and they're going to be very, very good. But maybe our guys looked at their record and thought maybe, well, I'm going to go in here and we're going to be able to do this and do that. And Morgan came out with a phenomenal game plan. And like I said last week, you look at their record and they don't look like an 0-8 football club, and they're not. They're just a few plays away from changing their whole season around. And they're very similar to us. You look back at our record, they're very similar to us. We've had opportunities where, we could have taken advantage of some things, and we didn't. And so we're still learning. We're still young. We only got 5 seniors that are going to be part of senior day. Everyone else will have the opportunity to come back next season. So being a young football team, these are one of the growing pains that we got to go through. And I'll be glad when the growing pains are over, though.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the just the talent level of HBCU football and how competitive the MEAC is? And there's a lot of good student athletes, and it's played at a high level.
It's, I said this from day one. I think the MEAC is evenly yoked. You go back and I'm going to use Delaware State. Okay. You say, well, Morgan's 0-8, Delaware State should go in there and beat them. And all of a sudden they upset, they beat Delaware State. You got Norfolk State riding a 6-game winning streak, and they go in to Central, and Central beats them. It's just, you go back a few years ago where A&T comes into Morgan, and Morgan beats them, and not only beats them once, but beats them 2 years in a row. So, I really believe that the MEAC is a phenomenal conference. I'm a product of the MEAC, of course. So, I'm very, very biased, and I'm going to be pro MEAC till I guess the good Lord calls me home. But it's an evenly yoked conference where on any given Saturday or Thursday, any team can win, and that's what makes it so competitive. The team that makes the fewest mistakes normally wins. And that's how it's been. for a long time. And if you can eliminate the mistakes and play mistake-free football, you're going to do very well in the MEAC. If you can't, then you're going to fall middle of the road or at the bottom of the totem pole if you continue to make the mistakes and don't capitalize making plays.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
You too.
Dr. Cabell?
Coach Milsat, I wanted to go back and ask a little bit more about the challenges and the refreshness of coaching a younger team to get them prepared for things that they hadn't necessarily seen at the collegiate level. How much of a challenge is that as you're building a program through that process?
The biggest thing, Doc, is it takes time. You know, we live into a society right now where, you know, there's an app for everything. You hit a button, there's an app for it. Well, there's no app to build a good football team. There's no app to be a good football player. There's no app for those things. So those things take time, hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, tears. Those things, maturity. You know, you got a lot of 17-year-old, 18-year-olds that come to college and they've been the man everywhere they've been. And then all of a sudden they come to college and they see a 22, 23-year-old man who's 6'5", 330, and they're looking across from him, realizing this man right here has been through something and that my talent level is not where his is right now. Okay. So they start making those executive decisions. And with the transfer portal throws in a whole different boomerang. You know, when now kids look, you know, the portal is good and it's bad. And I got to say this. Number one, when I grew up, when I signed my scholarship, it held me accountable that I made a commitment to Delaware State that I was going to be there, period. And transferring, there'd be a penalty if I transferred, okay? Now there's no penalty. A kid can come in one semester and say, I don't like it here, I'm not playing, and they may not be ready to play. And they can put their name in the transfer portal and leave your program. Okay, but not only do they leave your program, if they're not in good academic standings, okay, I can't go to class for them. I can't take their test for them. I get dinged with an APR point, okay, for academics and a retention point if they don't find another school. So I get dinged for that, okay, and the kid goes on and he can go and live his life normally, but I'm still getting a negative look, two of them, because of a decision that a 17 or 18-year-old made. And I hope and pray the NCAA looks at that and maybe have some conversations on how it really does a disservice to the universities by that. I can't make a kid stay in my program. I can do everything I can to treat him like I treat the other 104, but there's no guarantee a kid's going to stay in the program and continue to trust the process, which I always say all the time. It takes time. I'm a 5-year product of the MEAC, 5-year product of Delaware State. And every time I look at my resume, I didn't turn out half bad. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, we got to get our young people to understand, stop thinking that there's an app for greatness. There isn't. It's only hard work. There's time. You got to go through some challenges. You got to read something, go through some adversity, and you got to have faith. You got to have faith that God ordained this time and this moment for you. And you got to believe that in 2 years, what the coach is telling you, that you should be at a certain point academically, you should be at a certain point athletically, you should be at a certain point maturity, so that you can deliver the best product, not only for the football team, but for yourself. And you can be the best form of you. And that's what we are producing here at Delaware State. Football is a vehicle. Okay, the game of football is a vehicle. The game of life is what we got to play every single day. When we hang up the helmet and we hang up the jerseys that I have on my wall, you got to play that game of life, and you got to use football for the vehicle. Some guys are going to have a phenomenal experience. Okay. Some guys are going to have an average experience, but it's all about the work you put into that university and that program. Though that's the type of experience that you're going to have. And we live in a time right now where young people don't want to wait. They want everything now. They want to hit a button. I mean, most of them don't even know what an encyclopedia is. You know, definitely don't know what a dictionary is. And if I showed them a card catalog, they probably think it's a dollhouse.
Thank you, Coach, for going in some great detail and bringing up several great points.
Thank you.
Have a great, good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ty Miller.
All right, Coach, good morning to you.
Good morning.
On that same transfer portal conversation, consequently, if you get a guy who comes to your team from another team, how much trust do you have in him that he may not be that guy who left, like a guy who might leave your program?
I'm gonna be honest with you. We really haven't dug deep in the transfer portal because if you really go in and you do when it first came out, of course, I was excited about it. I'm like, man, hopefully we'll get a chance to get, some of them 3, 4, maybe a 5-star bounce back. But if you look at the transfer portal, especially coming from FBS, a lot of the players on there were not scholarship players from the beginning. Okay, it tells you right on there. So if you look there, that's the first thing we look at. We look at the guy and we go down and see, okay, he wasn't even a scholarship athlete at this bigger program. This kid had a plan, and I'm gonna go to an FBS school, walk on, and then I'm gonna try to earn a scholarship, not here, but someplace else. Okay, because I was at a Georgia, I was at an Alabama, I was at a Florida. I look at that. I want to know, okay, why? And then I don't want to know why you're leaving. Okay, if you made a commitment to walk on this place, why are you, oh, coach, I'm not playing. Well, you just got there. You just got there. So my mindset is that if you're so quick to leave a program that has multi-million more dollars in resources than Delaware State, there's got to be a red flag that comes up for me. There's a reason why you're leaving. Okay. And then how can I trust you? How can I trust you? And, the MEAC has a rule where, you can't go from MEAC team to MEAC team. You got to have it sit out 2 years if you attempt that, unless you're a graduate student. If you're a graduate, you can go anywhere you want to go. But if you're not a graduate student, you got to sit out 2 years. Okay. And I think that rule is great, to be honest with you. It holds the kids accountable in the MEAC, and it doesn't allow kids to jump on the bandwagon of teams that are doing well in order to chase the championship, especially in our conference. No, we do an extensive job evaluating guys in the portal. We know in certain circumstances that guys may go to a bigger program, okay? And we have been watching that kid out of high school, and we kind of predicted that when he go to a bigger program, the bigger programs don't fit everybody. There are a lot of guys that go to bigger programs that never play. 4- and 5-star athletes that never play, okay? And sometimes they do want an opportunity to play. They've been there a couple of years and realize that, hey, I'm a sophomore, but there's a sophomore starting in front of me, okay? The chances of me getting to play is probably slim to none, okay? And a kid like that, I'd have to have a serious conversation with, bring them in and have those, but we haven't had that since we've been here. We've been doing ours through the high school ranks and some transfers, and then through JUCO transfers, and then through word of mouth, through relationships and things like that. So our program was based on building the foundation first. We have 47 freshmen. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got 19 freshmen, 20 freshmen, and 21 freshmen like everyone else has, but we got 47 of those guys that are freshmen, okay, on our football program. So the foundation is set, okay, and we're only losing 7 seniors. We're only losing 5 seniors to graduation. We're excited about this recruiting class that's coming up, but we're going to have to bring in some guys that can come in and play right away. And I think we're probably going to go through the JUCO ranks and instead of the portal. The portal, just like I said, hasn't been good to us.
Coach, strange stat I'm going to ask you about. Morgan State's beaten Delaware State 9 times. Well, why is it that some teams are like that for other teams, similar to in the NFL? The Broncos have beaten the Cowboys despite the somewhat disparity in some parts of their talent. They've beaten them 6 straight times. So why does that happen? That's the psychology of sport in a sense.
That's crazy. That's crazy you said that, because I looked that up after the game. And when I was a player here, it's kind of crazy how the tide turns. But Morgan was everyone's homecoming opponent. Okay, they were our homecoming opponent all the time. And when we looked at the schedule, we knew that was a victory. We just knew it was a victory. That, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was what was said. So it's very shocking to see and to hear that it's been 9 years since Delaware State has had a victory against Morgan, especially Morgan being 0-8 at the time, and they played, like I said, I take my hat off to Coach Wheatley and the staff. man, they game playing the heck out of us, and they exploited some things early, which made us play from behind, and then not catching the football. I don't know. It's tough to say, but every year is different. And, hopefully next year when we get, the last 3 times we've played them in Baltimore. We haven't played them here in Delaware since I've been the coach. And so next season, I happen to look, we do have them here in Delaware. So hopefully the tide will change then.
And finally, Coach, taking on Norfolk State this weekend, it's kind of a different kind of mindset. You go and play a team now that you expect to be totally competitive, as opposed to what happened last week, the expectation. So in terms of talking to your players, how much comparison do you make between what happened last week and what you take on this week?
Got to play our A game. They're an A-list opponent, period. And we got to play our A game. Okay, we got to cut the mistakes. We got to eliminate the mistakes. We can't just cut them now. We got to eliminate the mistakes. We have to be very aggressive with Norfolk. They are in a very aggressive team. They're fast. They're big. They're strong. I mean, they check all the boxes. And Coach Odom has done a phenomenal job getting those guys to believe in his program and his vision. And the reason why they won 6 straight is because of his leadership. So, and they're well coached. So our coaching staff know, we've talked about it. We have to make sure that our guys are ready to play come 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Those are all the questions we have. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Delaware State will host the Norfolk State Spartans on Saturday in Dover, Delaware. Kickoff will be at 1 p.m. at Alumni Stadium. The game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have the Norfolk State head coach, Coach Dawson Odoms. Morning, Coach. How are you?
Morning. How you doing?
Doing well. All right, Coach. The Spartans' 6-game win streak came to an end with a double overtime loss on Saturday at North Carolina Central. Please recap the game for us from your perspective.
Well, roller coaster. I thought we started out really fast, and then they responded, which you expect that. Being in that environment, it's homecoming, and those guys are going to respond. They responded all year. They play extremely hard. Coach Olive was doing a great job there, and we knew it was going to be a good fight, and we knew our guys was going to have to, answer the bell. We scored 21, they scored 24, and then it seemed like couldn't nobody get a first down. And then we had an unbelievable drive to even attempt the field goal that started 5 yards outside the right, and good thing we got the wind correct, and it ended up blowing to the left upright and go through. So it go to overtime, and in overtime it was a battle, and they ended up converting on a 2-point play to win the game. And you look at it and say, what is the deciding factor? You give away a free 100 yards. We gave away almost 100 yards in penalties, and I don't care how good you are, how bad you are, you're not going to win those football games. But it is some positives you can take away from it, and we go correct the negatives, and we'll move forward. I think it was a tough loss, but it was a competitive football game, and our players just got to learn and grow. That's what I tell them: losing provide an opportunity for you to learn and grow. We don't dwell on losing. We use it as a teaching tool to get ready for the next one. And you got to get ready because it's a tough one waiting on us, and we have to play a lot better. But I do believe that if we play better from a discipline standpoint, we always going to give ourselves a chance to be in a football game. And we was in that football game, even though we didn't play well from a discipline standpoint. But I take my hat off to North Carolina Central, Coach All and his coaching staff. They got it done. They made one more play than we did, and they was able to celebrate a W.
Coach JJ Davis had a great game, rushing for 217 yards on 18 carries and scoring 3 touchdowns. Talk about his play against the Eagles.
Well, I thought, it really started with our offensive line and our receivers. I thought we did an outstanding job of run blocking. And I thought our guys did just an outstanding job of sticking with the game plan. He's a phenomenal football player. He has tremendous speed. He has good vision, good power, and he runs the football the way you like for your running backs to run it. And it's good to have guys back there that have, that home run potential. And I was happy for him. He broke a couple ones to help us keep drives alive, and just an electrifying running back. And I'm glad he played for us.
All right, Coach. This Saturday, the Spartans will seek to get back on track when they face the Delaware State Hornets in Dover. How should the Spartans stack up against the Hornets?
Physical. It's going to be another physical battle. I mean, it's MEAC play. You got to buckle up your chin strap no matter where you play at. This is our 7th road game of the season. So, I mean, we're going into a tough environment. Seniors, I think, be senior day for them. They'll be ready to play. And we're going to have to play. We're going to have to play extremely well. They're a good football team. Ball hasn't bounced their way. But when it has bounced their way, you see the goodness of this football team. Coaches, Mr. has done a great job with this football team. They play hard, and it's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a physical football game. And we got to keep improving and just clean up some fits and get ourselves ready to go play a physical football game.
Awesome, Coach. Those are the questions I have for you. We'll now turn to the media with the first question coming from Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Yes, sir. When you look at that homecoming experience last weekend, what are some of the takeaways you can take from that as you move forward and look to get back to the winning ways?
Well, you got to finish. I thought we had them on the ropes, and it was 3rd and 5, and we jump off sides and give them an automatic first down. We gave them 5 first downs without even having to earn it. And that's tough. When you just give them first downs on penalties, it makes it tough for you as a football team. 3 unsportsmanlike penalties and overtime, that's uncharacteristic of our football team. And I don't think they were unsportsmanlike, but we had unnecessary roughness, and you just can't give a team a free 15 yards when they only got to go 25. So we're just going to take away and understand that make teams beat us. Don't help them beat you. And if I can live with that, if someone just goes out and hit us in the mouth and beat us, then you shake that team hands and you congratulate them. And when you beat yourself, you still got to shake hands and congratulate them. But then you got to come back and look in the mirror and do a self-evaluation of why that happened in that game. And we did that on Sunday, and we're going to move forward. The day is Move On Monday. We'll meet with our team on Monday, and we'll get it ready and get them ready for the next opportunity.
Coach, the concept of controlling your own destiny and moving forward. 2 games remain on the schedule. Can you explain what that means and how that can look for the Spartans?
Well, that's just the process. Our process is to go 1-0 every week. We'll reset that, and we reset it every Sunday, and we're going to focus on Delaware State and just have our opportunity there. You can't really control anything else, but we can control, how we get prepared to play for this next opportunity, and we're going to do that. We know we got some guys on this football team that finally was in a locker room and a loss hurt. And I explained to them that in order for losing to hurt, you got to be a winner. You got to be a winner for losing to hurt. And I tell them all the time, regardless of your records, as a young African-American male, you're always winners in life. Don't let records define whether or not you're a winner or a champion. Don't let sports be the defining moment of that. The things that we have to overcome as young men in this world, you're born in this world to be a champion. Now it's all about letting it out. And I think if you get that kind of mindset, when you have adversity, you're able to overcome it. And that's where we are. And I think these guys understand that. And I'm different. I've been a part of big games. I done had some bad losses, but our process doesn't change. It's not going to be no hooping and hollering. It's not going to be no cussing and fussing. It's going to be learning and growing. And that's what I believe. I believe that's how you approach society and these young men, is that we're already beaten down. So it's an opportunity to learn and grow. Let's find the things out in this game that we can learn and grow from. And if we do that, you'll never be associated as a loser.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going into Dover this week.
Thank you.
Dr. Cavill.
Yes, Coach Odoms, I wanted to go back with some of the penalties that you were concerned with and were, as you stated, uncharacteristic. How do you go through that coaching process about penalties throughout the game? And I guess there's different penalties. Some are because maybe athletes are trying too much, and others are just discipline penalties. How do you work through that process as a coach?
Well, it's all about focus. It's every play you have to be locked in, and you have to understand that. And that's what usually happens. I think if you look at it, we got up 21 to nothing, and then the focus wasn't there. And that's when you started seeing the penalties, is that you can't get complacent in the game. You got to play the game. I always tell them, you can't celebrate during the game. You celebrate for exciting plays, but you can't have that self-celebration, because at the end, somebody will be celebrating in front of you. And you got to stay focused. And that's what it's all about. Every play, you got to be locked in. And you can't be watching the scoreboard. And they're young men, and we've been in front some this year, and we've lost focus, and it hasn't come back to bite us. Well, in this game, it did. And it's teaching. And we've been telling them, but it's teaching and coaching. Sometimes you have to learn certain things, but you got to go through some defeats to learn it. And that's unfortunate, but that's how sports are. And we're going to learn from it. And I can't wait to team meeting today to be able to clear our minds and set our mind for how we're going to go practice this afternoon and get this football team moving forward, because we know we got a tough opponent waiting on us, but I think we'll be ready to play.
Thank you. Talking about that opponent with Delaware State, they have a challenging loss setback on their side, but they're playing really competitive football in terms of really putting their best foot forward. Is there anything that you've seen on film that gives you some concerns, or is this still more about just developing what you want to be in terms of your program as Spartans?
Well, I think when you come off the kind of football game that we just played, you have to first make sure that your team understand exactly who we are and how we go about winning and what that process looked like. And then we explain that to them. And then we explain to them how this next opponent, which is Delaware State, how we got to prepare in order to have some success against this football team. And we look at what they like to do well, and we focus on they better players, and we focus on what can we do schematically to make ourselves better against them. And then it just comes down to making sure they understand our process. And that's really what we're about. And we did not execute our process because we talk about winning penalties and turnovers and effort. We won the turnover battle, but we lost the penalty battle. And I just believe that those three categories always give you a chance to win. Even though we lost the penalty battle, we won the turnover battle, that kept us in the ball game. But you got to be disciplined, and you got to win the penalty battle, because more games are lost in those three categories than anywhere else in football.
Thank you, Coach Odom. Good luck this weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All mine.
Mr. Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. How are you?
Great. Thanks. Good morning.
Hey, just one question for you. Coach Milsat said he did not recognize the team that got off the bus in Baltimore last Thursday. So what team are you expecting to walk out the locker room at Delaware State?
It's tough on the road. I think anytime you're at home, you got a different environment. You got a different feel, a different process, how you go about doing things. We go get that good Delaware State football team, and they got a bad taste in their mouth. We got a bad taste in our mouth. So I think it's two teams that's hungry to taste victory, and whatever they got to do to get that victory is what both teams are willing to try to do. And I think we go get an exciting football game. We know it's going to be a battle. Every week, seems like in the MEAC, it's a battle. You can throw records out the window. You got to come and play, and you got to play well for 60 minutes, because anything can happen and will happen.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach Odoms, thank you for being with us this morning. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you next Monday.
Always a pleasure. Behold, the green and gold.
Take care, Coach. Norfolk State will travel to Dover, Delaware on Saturday to face the Hornets of Delaware State. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. at Alumni Stadium, and the contest will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have South Carolina State head coach, Buddy Pugh. Morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Karen, how are you? My
Good.
machine is starting to freeze up a little bit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, we'll go for it.
Awesome. All right, Coach. The Bulldogs were in a literal dogfight this Saturday against Howard, hanging on for a narrow 15-12 victory. What were the keys to your team remaining unbeaten?
I can't hear you. Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't get all. Can you say it again? I'm breaking up on you. I think it might be my internet connection, but try it one more time, please.
Okay. The Bulldogs were in a literal dogfight against Howard on Saturday. What were the keys to your team remaining unbeaten in conference play?
Well, I think maybe fortune as much as anything, but we did everything we could to, to hang in there with these guys because we didn't necessarily have the best of plans or whatever. I don't know exactly what the shortcoming was, except for the fact that Howard came in here, played really well, and had a really good plan against us. We didn't particularly execute all that well, and had every opportunity to put them away kind of early and couldn't seem to get it done. So, at that point, we went on about the task of being in a dogfight for the rest of the game. It ended up being a 15-12 game. I think that kind of sums up, what kind of game it was. Those guys took us down to the wire. I've got to really, really take my hat off to Coach Scott and his crowd. I thought they did a phenomenal job. They lost their quarterback. Well, I guess maybe early in the second quarter, maybe late in the first quarter. And they bring their next guy in from there. And, he continues to operate them at a high level in a way where we didn't get a chance to ever really get a good beat on them and to get them stopped. So it was a tough game for us. Our defense continues to play well at times. They played really well, I think, in this game. And we got a couple guys, Jablonski Green and Jacoby Durant. Jablonski's defensive end, who started to play well. He's in his 5th game now. Had a broken hand at the beginning of the year and didn't play the first 3 or 4 games. He's starting to really come on now, playing a little bit outside linebacker, defensive end for us, and Jacoby Durant at the cornerback position. He's a defensive back. Has continued to play well. They don't mess with him a whole bunch, but when they do, he's always up to the task. So we got some guys playing really well on the defensive side of football. Hopefully we'll continue to improve there and play well. And then at this point, we'll see if we can find ourselves offensively because it was a little bit of a tough game for us offensively against Howard this past Saturday.
All right. No single player posted flashy numbers, but you just mentioned the defense did well, and it was a team effort to stop the Bison. What else were you most pleased with in looking back at your team's performance?
Well, I was pleased with the fact that we could hang in there and win a game such as this. When you're in a dogfight and you kind of expecting to win, you're the favorite, and you're in a game where you think you ought to be a lot farther ahead, and you're not. To continue to be able to, be successful under those circumstances is a big deal too. So, we were proud of the fact that we won the football game. We got no reservation. It's not necessarily what we will emphasize in this particular conversation about this game. We'll always talk about the fact that we beat hell out of them, although we didn't. All we can do at this point. You know what, Karen? I've had one of the unintended consequences gathering each week, and it's been so much fun to look at and to hear our coaches, our young football coaches, Coach Milsat and Scott and Coach Wheatley is coming on in a little bit, Coach Oliver, Dawson Odom. These guys, we got a few new guys. To get to know them this way over the duration of the season has been an enjoyable experience for me. So I like coming on at the very beginning and hearing all of them, hearing you too. I appreciate you. So we're getting close to the end of this year now, but it is a good thing, I think, having this medium to be able to do our weekly coaches press conference as opposed to the old phone calls. But we didn't see their faces and that kind of stuff. You didn't get some of the reactions you get now. So that's been my main take from the past week now.
I appreciate that, Coach, and I thank you for showing up every week, as well as the other coaches.
Well, thank you.
All right, so the Bulldogs venture out of conference play this weekend when they host former MEAC nemesis North Carolina A&T State. Share with us your thoughts on the Bulldog Aggie clash.
Same A&T, same South Carolina State. It'll be, a dogfight between the two of us. And Coach Sam Washington and his outfit, have had, their ups and downs in their new league this year. I'm sure it'll be similar, to what we've had in the past. It's always about a one-score game between the two. We haven't beaten them in a while. So, we look forward to having that opportunity. Our non-conference games, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, and North Carolina A&T, we weren't out looking for some softies to play as and these guys were convenient to us. The weather hadn't cooperated. We really got knocked in the head by the weather this past weekend. We were expecting a huge crowd, and of course, it was cold and rainy. We don't come out for that. And so, we are hoping that we get a big crowd for this A&T game this weekend, because a lot of folks who we anticipated coming this past weekend weren't able to come. So it's senior day for us. It's all kinds of faculty appreciation, other kinds of days for us. Hopefully we get a big crowd out this coming Saturday to see this team. We have earned a share of the conference championship. I don't know if anybody said that already. I didn't get the first part, but at the very least, although the birth to the Celebration Bowl is still very much to be determined still, at the very least, we are at least a part conference champ, and we're excited about that. We are 4-0 with only one game to go, so nobody can have more than one. Nobody can have less. Well, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, but we in there somewhere, and we're looking forward to people getting the chance to see this team. This is their last shot at home this coming weekend. After that, then we go back on the road. So appreciate you, and look forward to seeing everybody come out to see us play on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Those are the questions that I have for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Mr. James Hill.
Thank you.
Good morning, Coach Pugh. How are you, sir?
Morning, James. How are you?
Pretty good. When you look at your victory this weekend or past weekend against Howard, Mr. Flowers, Kendrell Flowers scored, and then the rest was field goals, and the fourth quarter was a stalemate. Can you just go back to that game and kind of recap what you saw out there from a coaching perspective?
Well, you're right. We did score early, and we had to do all kinds of stuff to get that first score. We faked the punt and, had another fourth down conversion, some of that kind of stuff. So, it was a tough get for us to get the ball in the end zone against Howard. And from that point on, we didn't have another touchdown. So, I don't know if I want to go back and revisit it or not, James. I'm hoping to kind of forget some of that deal. But, the fact that we won the game is about all I want to remember.
I got you. Going forward, out of conference, it's a HBCU classic built in. You look at two major brands, South Carolina State and North Carolina A&T, the Aggies, the history and the tradition and all the national championships. Can you just talk about this weekend's contest?
I appreciate you saying that about our brands, about both of our brands. And you're exactly right. We do feel very strongly about the fact that this is a great opportunity for us to, to have a top-notch non-conference game and create a rivalry for years to come, even though we're not in the same league anymore, but we're close enough. Our fan bases are intertwined enough, between the two areas that, we ought to have big crowds when we play these guys. So, we're looking forward to having A&T in here. It's a knockdown, drag out. These guys will come in here and give us all we can handle. We need to be able to hang in there with them. That's because if not, they'll come here and blow us out. So, we're looking forward to these guys getting in here this Saturday and looking forward to maybe relaxing a little bit and playing a good, loose and easy kind of football game in a way, because of the fact it doesn't have quite the meaning that it once did as far as the conference championship is concerned, but it will give us an opportunity to really sharpen our skills up against a top-notch opponent and getting ready for our last game of the year.
Coach, that last game of the year, when you talk about securing that MEAC crown, you talk about half a trophy or you've solidified half of it, at least, But, when you move forward, it's always good to win the whole thing. And I know it's down the road. Could you just share some comments on that?
Well, not really, James. I'm all in on A&T right now. We'll talk about that more next week. We know it's out there. I think it's pretty obvious that we've won a part of the conference. But now let me tell you, all without none, all without all in this particular situation is one where I can tell you it means nothing to us. So we've got all of our eggs in that one basket, and we got to work at that down the road a piece. Thank you. Thank
you, sir. We respect you, and we look forward to the season unfolding.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, James.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach. Good morning to you.
Ty, you got a Braves shirt? Is that a Braves shirt you got on?
Yeah, that's a Braves shirt.
Okay.
Lifelong
fan. That in common. I got one of
those. Now you brought this up. So this is your 8th outright or share of the conference championship at the MEAC. So how satisfying is it? Yes, your 8th.
Yes, you know what? I didn't know it was 8, but it's satisfying. I got more than that, Ty, because I was an assistant here for about 3 or 4 back in the day. I count them 2. This is my 8th. That's the 8th guy, if you say so. Yeah, it's all good, but it ain't nothing but without the whole deal. So we got to get it done, and we got some work to do yet.
Now, you talked earlier about, how teams that were favored this past weekend were either behind or they lost. What is that dynamic? Because a lot of that happened this weekend, not only in college football, but it happened in pro football as well, where a lot of underdogs ended up winning.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know what that means. I can tell you what, though. I'm trying to avoid it on our end. I don't know who will be favored though against us and A&T this particular weekend. Probably them. We may be the underdog. So, at least by past performance and what's happened in the last so many odd years. But I can tell you that, anybody can beat anybody. Our league is that even league. I've said that all of the games are going to be close. The coaches in this league prepare their teams in a way that that it's going to be probably a possession or 2, a score or 2 kind of game, regardless, who you're playing within the league. So, I think we all just that close. And, I don't know whether we all the same good or the same bad, but we all about the same is what I think.
I mean, a lot like Alabama and LSU, when those teams get together, records don't matter. But is it any different that A&T is now in the Big South Conference? Any different preparation for them than you normally have?
No, it'll be the same deal. We want to knock them out and them the same on their end. So we'll try to see if we can, get ourselves prepared just as we would ordinarily.
Jacob Fowler, their quarterback. Your thoughts on him if you've seen him already?
Yeah, he's a South Carolina boy. I'm mad because he's up there. I'm trying to figure out exactly how that works. But they coming in South Carolina doing a lot of recruiting these days, so that sticks. That's a sore spot that you just dug into. He's from up at Dorman High School up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. They got another few kids from South Carolina too that we like to have. So they come in here and hurt us from time to time in the recruiting deal.
And you and Sam Washington go way back. So tell us about Sam Washington, your thoughts on him and how good he is as a coach.
Great coach, better man, too nice a guy to be a cold-blooded killer like he is on the football field. But, he does, he kind of kills you with kindness and all of a sudden, bam, you get a doggone knot up inside your head somewhere. So he's a guy, he's a guy in this league and he's not in another league, thank goodness. I'm kind of glad he's gone, but at the same time, I miss him.
All right, Coach, well, good luck this weekend.
All right, appreciate the time.
Dr. Cavill.
Yes, Coach.
Yes.
Man, solid victory you did on the defensive side after putting all the points up. It's intriguing how games have their own nature to them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you continue to push through that when you see a game going in a certain direction, maybe more defense than offense or vice versa, early in the season, more offense than defense? How do you go through that process as a coach?
You know what? Doug, I don't know exactly when I go into a game what's going to be the deciding factor, on which way we need to go or what part of the game might be the most maybe challenging or maybe even the most advantageous for us at that point. So, you got to be prepared to win at any place. You got to have a special teams wrinkle or two. You got to have a, offensive and a defensive something that you got maybe a little bit of a little different twist on or whatever. So you got to be prepared to do something to be able to win the football game regardless of the circumstances. So you just got to have something out there that you feel comfortable with, that you can execute, that'll give you an opportunity to get a little bit of advantage at some point or other. Besides that, it's the best team. You knock yourself down, there's about a 4 or 5 minute window at the beginning of the game. You get all the jumping, the hooping and hype and all that kind of stuff at the beginning of the game. And then you get into the next 55 minutes of who is the best football team, the best blocking and tackling, prepared, that kind of stuff team is going to win. So you got to just kind of be prepared to deal with it from all aspects.
One follow-up question, Coach. You've been in the business for a while and you've been able to stack up wins at a historic level.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of looking at it, MEAC versus other conferences and stuff, in this case, earlier it was SWAC with some teams that left, and now it's the Big South. How important is it beyond you just needing and wanting to win, but also in a lot of ways representing the conference? How important is that in this matchup when you talk about just two physical programs, as you said, a dogfight coming up here?
Yeah.
How important that is to you to get that victory like that?
Important. Anytime you go out and represent your league against another conference, you want to try to put your best foot forward. We've played 3 SWAC teams this year outside of the league, because we played Alabama A&M, we played FAMU, we played Bethune. We lost road games and won the home games, but now Alabama A&M was a close football game. I think we lost maybe by like 1 point. FAM beat us up. And you know what? When I vote still now, I vote FAM up top because of the fact that I thought FAM really played great on defense. That's what really catches you by surprise on that end, is the fact that how good Willie's team is on defense. And then, we got Cookman out there. So we got those guys, pretty much on our schedule, for some time now. We got A&T this weekend. It's a Big South team now. We look forward to going out and competing against those neighboring leagues, the championship subdivision leagues that are close by us. And we want to always try to do our very best to establish our reputation in a way that we get the respect that we can give our guys an opportunity to maybe go to the playoffs and that kind of stuff with the down the line teams in our league, outside of the ones that don't get a chance to go to the Celebration Bowl.
No doubt. And I imagine it would help with recruiting, as you mentioned earlier, too,
for sure.
To keep some of those folks at home.
That too, for sure. That's a good point.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
All right, our next question comes from Mr. Carlton Green.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Carlton Green, how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
I'm not gonna call you Fish. I'm gonna call you Coach. I'm gonna call you Carlton. How you?
It's Coach Green now. I'm at Brooklyn Casey High School.
Is that right? Y'all got some players up there. I don't know if I can talk about that at this time, but let's go for it. All right.
Okay, your kicking game helped you out on Saturday. Talk about your kicking game.
Well, our little kicker, Gavin Zimmerman, is a freshman from over in Sumter County. Both our kickers, actually, our punter, Dyson Roberts, is also, and he faked the punt for us Saturday and had a first down for us that way. Is also from another high school over there, but they're both freshmen, and I'm telling you, they're really good kickers, starting out as freshmen this way. So I'm excited about them and hope that they'll continue to develop, get stronger. Both of them could be a little bit bigger. They're just kind of little, there's real small statured guys at this point. I'm not gonna say what we call.
I heard the kicker was 130 pounds.
He's a little bitty little thing, and but he can hit. He kicked balls into the end zone and kickoff this week, so he's getting stronger. But now he's still got a ways to go as far as to be able to get to the point where he can really boom it.
Okay, and my second question has to do with, well, I have family away at A&T, and there's a big rivalry thing in my family. So how do you feel about that?
Well, that's kind of what happens when you got a game against your next door neighbor, so South Carolina, North Carolina. You're gonna have all kind of crossovers, as far as connectivity that way, family and friends and all other kinds of situations you have that way. So we just agree to be mad at each other for a couple of days, but once we get done with the game, then we go back to being family and friends again.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Fish.
All right, up next we have Mr. Luke Williams.
Hey, Coach Pugh, congratulations on winning a share of another championship.
Thank you very much.
I may be seeing you again this weekend. Can you tell me about this program they're having Friday where they're honoring Coach Jeffries? Will you be there?
I'll be there, yeah. It's actually a celebration of the anniversary of our state club, which is the booster club of sorts for our athletics department. And they are recognizing a good many of our coaching staff and people who've been a part of this program and people who've been a part of the state club for years that way. So it's mostly not just a celebration for Coach Jeffries, but a celebration for the departments as a whole.
Okay, I'll probably see you there. May want to talk to you some more on camera. On camera, if you give us a few minutes.
Yeah,
but,
you got me.
Congratulations again and thanks.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Coach Pugh, thank you very much for being here with us. Good luck this weekend against A&T. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you then.
Take care. South Carolina State will host North Carolina A&T State on Saturday at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Kickoff will be at 1:30 p.m. and the game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Morgan State head coach Tyrone Wheatley. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
How you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. All right. Well, Coach, the Bears got that taste of victory when they handed Delaware State a 20-14 loss in a nationally televised game on Thursday night. What was the celebration like in the locker room after getting that first win of the season?
Well, as you can imagine, joy. You know, it was joyful. It was really good. And as I told the young men, that win was for them because they've given me everything they've had all year. Each week they've gotten better. I've just asked them for progression to get better, you know, just 1% better each week. And that's what they did. And the taste of victory was really for them. As I told them, I will incur the losses and all the wins because I'm the head coach, right? But at the end of the day, I really need them to understand that when you understand your job and you do your job, you understand your role and you play your role, it's great when you win. And then that role and your job and it all starts to come into view. And you know, this week, listen to the coaches, all the main word right now is focus. And when you win, now you got to get back to focus, right? You got to get your focus back in and get back to what's important.
So, do you think the win over Del State will inspire the Bears as they close out the season over the next couple of weeks?
As I talked about last time, November football, getting the pendulum swinging into the proper direction of winning, the momentum. Yes. But what I said again is, you know, you got to be process driven. You know, you think about the outcome. And we play good football, but we made a bunch of mistakes and we left some things out there on the field. So we got to get back to the process and hopefully, not hopefully, but, you know, to get these guys understanding that just because you win, you got to go out and work harder and focus even harder and do the things to win, because Albany got their first win as well. So everyone right now is trying to do the same thing, either finish out or finish up.
And you led into it a little bit, but the Bears have a non-conference game on tap this Saturday when they face the University of Albany. What does the game film tell you about the Great Danes?
Well, the Great Danes, you know, we faced, and this kid, Chris Ike, last week, I mean, he's a big, powerful running back. We faced against Delaware State. Now you get another one that comes up. I think he ran the ball 45 times for 232 yards, Mofor. Gosh, dog, you know. So it's going to be a physical, right? But that's November football. As the leaves turn gold and yellow, you know, red and yellow, and they start to hit the ground, so will the bodies, right? And we got to be able to put a hat on this guy and gang tackle and get him to the ground. But he is a force to be reckoned with. So it's going to be a physical football game.
All right, Coach, those are my questions for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
How you doing, Mr. Hill?
Pretty good. Congratulations on that victory. Can you go back to the Delaware State game and give us some of your takeaways, if you will?
Well, like I said, I'm still drained from that game. It was a hard fall. In Delaware State, Coach Milsat has that team playing, and he's got a young team. So, we were lucky to get them right now, because in the future, as we will be, but they're a good team. Like I said, that running back, and then Jared Lewis. Fortunate for us, but unfortunate for him. Just off the fingertips of a few receivers, and we're talking a different story this morning, right? We're talking a different story. Defensively, I mean, they played well. They played really well. Up front, they're really talented. They have a talented front seven. When they needed to make some stops, they made some stops. But on our end, we knew we had to come out and get on top of them. I felt in our receiving package and our receiving core, we could take advantage of some things. And we were able to hit the pass to Thomas Marcus early to get out front. And then Neil, our offensive line did a really good job of protecting Neil all game. He got outside the pocket a little early and made some errant throws, but for the most part, my offensive line did a great job. Jabril, I'm just going to say this: our work guy. I mean, he constantly comes to work with his hard hat. He's our jackhammer. He's going to pound out the hard yards. And then little Mr. Electric, Alfonso Graham. He's coming along. He's a guy who can hit the home run. He's pretty electric. We just got to get him to be a little more disciplined in some things. And but our team is coming together pretty well.
Coach, the Great Danes, Albany, a proud program. I remember my days covering them when I was up there at Fox. Can you talk about going in there? It can be a hostile environment. It's a cold weather environment, and you know all about that. But just talk about going in and trying to look for another W.
Well, their program is kind of the same place as ours in a sense for this year. But like you said, more of a story program, a little more history and tradition. But for this year, they received their first win last week, and they're trying to get that pendulum. They're trying to get that momentum swinging in the right direction. Like they received their first win, we received ours, and now each team is trying to get their second. And as you said, we're at home, we're in their place, and that's a little different as opposed when we were at home. But they're going to come out and they're going to ground and pound. I mean, they're going to hang their hat on running back 04, and we have to stop him. Off defensively, we've kind of struggled a little bit, stopping the run. But we're a bend but don't break defense who plays really hard. But just going into, Albany, and what better scene can you strike it up? I mean, if you're a true football fan, if you're a true competitor, you want to go in the Lions Den. You want to get somebody at their best and really go in. And right now, I'm trying to teach my team how to impose their will. I don't want to sound barbaric. I don't want to sound, as my daughters like to call it, toxic masculinity. But this is a combat sport. This isn't a sport for the weak heart and faint mind. When you take that field, you're trying to take someone's manhood. And then that's really how I'm trying to teach my team how to be. Because in life, you don't get anything free. In order to get a job, you got to take a job. No one's going to hand you anything. So right now, it's late in the year. Yes, bodies are sore. Yes, we are down some people. So when I talk about taking advantage of stuff, you have to take advantage of the opportunity that's given to you. And this is a great opportunity that's coming upon us.
Thank you, Coach. You have a great week, and that's a nice helmet collection you have up there. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, some of those mine and some of my sons. So yeah, it's a nice one. Thank you.
Darryl Duvall.
Hey, Coach, this is Daryl Duvall from Power U. I just want to say congratulations on your win. Y'all did a real good job. I had 3 questions for you, but one of them was already answered. What was the atmosphere in the locker room after the game, which you kind of already did that. But I want to say, y'all did a real good job on defense. Again, Thursday night football was real good. Having the opportunity to really look at the game, because it was, I mean, you really didn't have too many games on that. Really, you didn't have any except Thursday night football. But what do you take from the winning that game?
Well, it's what I've been pressing all week and really all year. It's the process. Don't see a little, see a little, see a lot. just play your game. And our guys went out and did that for the majority of the game. We did have some points where, and I try to take this word out of the program, is making a play. Those guys wasn't worried about quote unquote making a play. They went out and they did their job, because we talking about it as being, Detroit kid, man, majority of my family worked in the car plant. On the assembly line, I can't do my job until you do yours, right? And that's the way we look at it as an assembly line. You must do your job in order for me to do mine. And we come together as a collective group and we make it work. The offense played really well. Defense did well. Special teams stepped up. So when you talk about taking from that win, the guys now see it even more, right? They see it even more that the process is taking place. And the process really is them. They're the playbook. I can throw my playbook. Any coach can throw his playbook on the field. The playbook won't play for you. It's the players. And once the players buy in and the players understand that they're the playbook and they must make it work, then the process becomes, I wouldn't say easier, becomes simpler for those guys to now really, really, truly buy in and truly go ahead and just say, hey, listen, I have to do my part so my brother can do his.
And the last question is, where do you kind of go from the quarterback situation? I mean, going into, because I know your quarterback that you have right now is a grad student. You do have some other quarterbacks in there, but I mean, you had a lot of penalties, you had a lot of interceptions. So what is the future look for Morgan State quarterback situation?
Well, we have one guy who's injured who we were looking at. But when you talk about the quarterback situation right now, we recruited some guys. We have a couple of guys in the program, but to be honest with you, right now, I'm just trying to finish out this year strong. We will worry about that when we get to that moment of spring football. Would take care of a lot of those ills and play itself out. Like I said, we have some guys recruited that's coming in, but we do have some good young guys, and hopefully when Jairus Grissom heals up, he'll be able to compete for that spot as well. But right now, we're just trying to finish up this game this year. Just finish up this year and handle that situation when it comes.
Again, thank you very much for answering the questions. And again, congratulations on your win, your first win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mark Singalis.
Hi there. Hi, Tyrone. Mark Singlace up at the Albany Times Union. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And you?
Fine, thank you. I want to ask about coming back up to Albany. I mean, it's a campus you're pretty familiar with. I think you spent 3 training camps here, and I think you may have come back up with your kids to watch camp.
Yes.
What memories might you have looking back at having been a Giant up here?
Well, as a Giant for the camps, I don't have too many fond memories because going back to sleeping in the dorms and that hill, trying to walk to that hill to get to practice wasn't very, very fond of either. But no, Albany was really good to us as a Giant when we had our camps there. It does have some significance and some some sentimental values to me. But coming in right now, the focus has changed. It's just trying to get a win. The camps there helped me prepare to play football, but now we're going there to try and get a win there.
And just as a follow-up, you mentioned Carl Mulfor earlier. As you said, 45 carries last week. I mean, I know you carried the ball a lot, Tyrone, but as a running back, what do you think when you see 45 carries?
Well, what I see is durability, hunger, drive, and a young man that's willing to sacrifice his body for the good of the team. Now to come back and see how he comes back from that 45, carry. Sometimes a running back, it gets him in this mode, and sometimes he were able to have multiple back-to-back. And I'll go back to, the late 1980s when Lorenzo White carried the ball, I think, in 3 games where he had 40-plus carries. And you would think that, what is the week is he going to shut down? And I'm hoping he doesn't hit his stride. But sometimes when you carry that ball, you get in your stride and you started feeling really good, and that motivates the team. And but I'm just hoping that he's a little sore and he's not on his stride. I hope he's off his tracks, all right? After that 45 carry game. But he's a load, man. He's a really good back, and he's very disciplined. He's a big yak guy, yards after contact guy. So we got our work cut out for us.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Dr. Cavell.
Coach Wheatley,
How you
Good
doing?
morning.
Good morning.
Doing well. Good to see you. Wanted to say congratulations. I know the business you keep moving forward, but obviously it was a lot of work put into each of these games, but particularly for it to work out the way it did. Just want to say congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With that being said, talk about the last play in that game. Controlling it seemed like a lot of part of the game, and then a big turnover, and then you see that momentum seem to switch. And it literally came down to the defensive side of the ball, which has played relatively well all season, to be able to get literally 4 key stops last play. How emotional was that to see the team be able to do it in that manner?
Very emotional. You go back and you can question it at 8 minutes to, either throw the ball, and we've been having success throwing it. We were looking for an easy completion throw. Quarterback got spooked and he flushed the pocket. And, we talk about situational football all the time. In that situation, if you don't throw it in the stands, just take the sack. And this way the clock keeps moving and keeps rolling. We live to see another play. And he ends up throwing a pick, right? So that was kind of a disappointing deal right there. However, when you talk about team, and this is what we talk about when you say team, the entities inside the team, yes, are special teams, offense, and defense. But when you truly talk about team, you don't say, well, and this is where we are growing. And this is where I'm so proud. And once again, I said about my team, I'm so proud of them. Because once that happened, the defense just didn't flinch. They didn't get upset. They didn't say, come on, man. They just, what they did? They said, we got you, fellas. We got you. And that's the truth and growth of a team. Because once you separate the entities, right? Once you separate the entities and you really, really, truly just put it all on the table as one, that's where you grow. Now, did we put them in a strange position? Yes, we did. But however, we have been looking at NFL games the entire weeks leading up to our game. And I've been telling them, if the teams have been winning 17-16, 10-3, there's been out back and forth. If that's what you need to do as a team, that's what you need to do. Just get the win. And they were able to come out and do so.
In terms of next week's game, you played non-conference game. As you said, they just got their first win. What have you seen in terms of that matchup that you think that your team can get in there and get done against this matchup?
Well, this matchup we're pretty similar, pretty similar. Stout defense, stout defenses, stingy defenses. They run the ball well, we run the ball. So we're pretty similar. It's going to be one of those deals where it's going to be a bend but don't break, game. Meaning we're going to have to really it's going to be a ball control. Might be a 3 and out, but the guy who holds the ball the longest and who holds it last will end up winning this game, and that's what we're looking to do.
Again, congratulations, Coach. Look forward to the matchups this weekend. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach Wheatley, thank you for being here with us this week. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks. Morgan State will travel to Albany, New York this Saturday to face the Albany Great Danes. The game, the 1 p.m. game will be broadcast live on Flow Sports. At this time, we would like to conclude our weekly coaches press conference. But before we end the call, we'd like to thank all of our media members who've been on with us today, our MEAC Sports Information offices for helping with today's call. And as always, the MEAC would like to thank its corporate partners for their support. Our next call will be next Monday, November 15th at 10 a.m. And as always, for up-to-date news on MEAC football or other sponsored sports, log on to meacsports.com, like the MEAC on Facebook, and follow MEAC Sports on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. Once again, everybody, thank you for being here. See you all next week. Have a great week.